You know, I used to spend more time debating which fictional character would win in a fight than I would like to admit. And today I am taking it a step further. Instead of putting my favorite anime character into a versus scenario, I am going to put you, the viewer, into a fight. And what better place to find opponents for you than Super Smash Bros. So today I am going to find out which Smash characters you could beat in a fight. Alright, let's start with your stats. Judging from my YouTube analytics and from what I'm seeing in my comment section, I assume you look roughly like this. So your strength, speed and durability are all peak human level. You are also very intelligent and you have all the knowledge about Smash characters that is available on the internet. Finally, you can use any weapon that would reasonably be available to you. So a hammer is fair play, but not something like a fighter jet. Now, let's talk about your opponents. I'm judging every Smash character by their canonical power. That means alternate versions of a character that are not canon to the main one like Paper Mario or Archie-Sonic are not included. Also, I'm not counting non-canon crossovers like Project X, Smash itself or Fortnite. Finally, I'm trying not to do too much power scaling, otherwise I could just put every character at multiverse level and call it a day. I will put every Smash character into one of 4 tiers, ranging from you win, to potentially with the correct strategy, to you lose, and finally, you get a fate worse than death. With that being said, let's get started. Mario is powerful enough to blow up bricks with his fists, and he has power-ups that give him supernatural abilities. His platforming games show him taking damage from touching enemies, but that is just a gameplay mechanic and not part of the character's lore. Mario's just too much for a human to handle. DK once casually punched the moon out of orbit. I think I said enough. Link is a master at using all kinds of weaponry. Swords, bows, lances, explosives and so on. But even without that, he's a beast. You can put him on a desolate island filled with monsters without any equipment and he will still emerge victorious. This fight goes to Link. Oh boy, where do I start? Samus' suit is strong enough to withstand lava, her weapons can blow up giant aliens and she was trained all her life in the art of combat. No chance. On top of having basically the same powers as Samus, Dark Samus is also highly radioactive. Just being near her infects you with Phazon, a substance that slowly corrupts you and turns you into a mindless puppet for Dark Samus to control. Heck, there's a scene in Metroid Prime 3 where a character chooses to self-delete before Dark Samus can take control of him. This fight will be a fate worse than death. Yoshi has cartoon bullshit powers. In his 3DS game he can eat a gigantic Shy Guy and produce an egg that destroys entire landscapes. Kirby. What could someone who looks as weak as he does do? Aside from cracking planets in half, knocking meteors 10,000 light years away, and fighting gods on a daily basis. Yeah, if you fight Kirby there's a high chance that he absorbs you, which would mean that you get stuck in a pocket dimension. Kirby has an entire universe in his stomach if you didn't know. You would then be stuck there until you die. Fate worse than death. Fox has a laser gun for grounded combat and if that's not enough he can just summon his R-Wing to shoot you from orbit. Pikachu. So here's the first debatable one. If we use Ash's Pikachu as a basis, you stand no chance as that one can reach mountain level power. However, Pikachu is a species and there are potentially weak members that you could realistically beat. Every Pikachu still has electric powers, so I would say that even against a level 5 wild Pikachu, you would have to strategize with weapons. But I can realistically see you pulling this off. Luigi has basically the same powers and abilities as Mario. Maybe you could find a way to scare him off a bit, but in a fight until KO, you will go down first. Ness has a ton of psychic powers and he has experience fighting all kinds of monsters. I don't see your chances too high here. Falcon's sheer muscle mass and masculinity would annihilate a normal human. The guy can also just summon his blue Falcon to run you over at 5000 miles per hour. Jigglypuff is the first character where I would comfortably say that you win, assuming her trainer isn't Hungrybox. Remember the rules. You know which powers these characters have, so you would be aware of Puff's ability to put her opponents to sleep. So prepare for that, keep your distance and use ranged weaponry like guns to take her down. Puff's attacks are also nowhere near as deadly as that of the average Pokemon, so even in close combat you could put up a fight. Peach and Daisy, like all Mario characters, can blow up bricks by casually hitting them with their fists. They also have power-ups and magical abilities. This guy seemingly survives a supernova at the end of Mario Galaxy. Good luck trying to hurt Bowser, let alone KO him. The Ice Climbers are definitely stronger than a peak human, considering they are able to fight against polar bears. However, they are still children and all they have is a close-ranged hammer. I can see you outsmarting them and using ranged weapons to win. However, a single hit from their hammer would kill you, so don't get close. Sheik is a skilled ninja with teleportation powers. Good luck hitting her at all. Most of Zelda's powers are only really effective against the forces of evil, and since you are pure-hearted, her abilities wouldn't be as effective on you. However, she still has a ton of magical powers that work on non-evil beings as well. I don't see your chances too high here. Dr. Mario is just Mario, so he wins. Like with Pikachu, there are Pichus that are quite strong, like the one in Ranger 3, and ones that are weak. However, generally Pichus are portrayed as being unskilled fighters that can't control their powers and constantly hurt themselves. The Pokédex says Pichu can zap adults, but it doesn't say Pichu can put up a real fight against them. So I say, you win here. Like Fox, Falco has a laser gun and he can summon his R-Wing. Fire Emblem lords fight against gigantic dragons and entire armies on a regular basis. You might think that you can beat them by bringing a gun to the fight, but considering that Fire Emblem characters have anime powers on their side, it wouldn't surprise me if they could just parry gunfire with their swords. You definitely have better chances against young Link than against adult Link, considering he lacks several years of training and experience. However, he still has weapons that can slay big monsters like Goma and King Dodongo. Oh boy, if Genny doesn't just pick you up and rip you in half with Frost Wrench alone, he would use his magic to turn you into a mindless pawn for his schemes. Fate worse than death. No attack that you could use would get through Mewtwo's psychic powers. If Mewtwo is generous, he would just beat you. If he's more on the sinister side though, he could use his mind control to make you do whatever he demands. Potentially fate worse than death. So, Game & Watch's canon are his games from the 80s. They generally portray him as a normal human being that gets knocked out by having tools fall on his head. There's really nothing that suggests Game & Watch has any superpowers or the likes as far as his canon is concerned. You win here. Yeah, if Meta Knight can hurt Kirby or tank a hit from Kirby, then no weapon on Earth can hurt him. Hit can kill gods, and he can casually pick up giant weapons as if they weigh nothing. No chance. Dark Pit is a clone of Pit, and on top of having Pit's powers, his main weapon is a sniper rifle. You might think that Samus without her suit is a normal human that you can beat by bringing a gun to the fight. However, Samus was infused with the DNA of a godlike alien species that turned her into a superhuman. And even without her suit, she is skilled in all kinds of combat. Imagine fighting Wario.
Have a rotten day!
Snake is peak human to low superhuman, and a well-placed bullet would kill him outright. However, he is way too skilled to let that happen. Good luck sniping him before he snipes you. Good luck sneaking up on him before he sneaks up on you. And good luck getting a cake as impressive as his before I open up Rule 34. As a Fire Emblem character, I cast the power of God and anime on his side. There's no way you can put up a fight against Charizard. I don't think we need to debate here. As for Ivysaur, you could go into ranged combat, but Ivy has dangerous ranged attacks as well, like Razor Leaf, which can cut down trees. One hit from that and the fight is over. As for Squirtle, I would say that you could once again beat a low-leveled member of its species with the correct weapons and strategy. And when it comes to the Pokemon trainer himself, you just win. Cartoon bullshit logic from the anime aside, the Pokemon franchise generally portrays Pokemon trainers as normal human beings, so in a one-on-one fight you would just beat him up. Diddy can casually punch someone to Horizon. What's up with Kongs being so powerful? Lucas, like Ness, has tons of psychic powers and he has experience fighting all kinds of monsters. I hate to say it, but you are too slow. You will not be able to land a hit on Sonic. Yeah, if Dedede can put up a fight against Kirby, then no human will put up a fight against him. Here we finally have an undebatable fight. Olimar is less than 1 inch tall and he struggles fighting against bug-sized enemies. Just step on him for an easy victory. Considering how skilled the average Lucario is and the fact that his powers could come straight out of Dragon Ball, I don't see your chances too high here. Rob's canon consists of him being a real-life toy. That's all there is to him. His appearance in Mario Kart doesn't count as canon, as Rob doesn't have a canon in the first place. So his toy self is all we have to work with here, and I'm sure you are more than capable enough to destroy a Rob toy. Toon Link is basically Young Link, with some different powers and weapons. However, he is just as skilled, which makes it hard for a normal human to beat him. Wolf has the same options as Fox and Falco. Villager is another debatable one. His games show him picking up trees, but that clearly doesn't translate to his actual combat power, as he still gets knocked out by bees and spiders. I mean, let's be real here, video games usually don't intend the weight of an inventory to translate to the canon power of the playable character. Since Villager doesn't have much going for him in terms of strength, speed or combat experience, I say that you win this fight. According to the lore, Mega Man's body is made out of some kind of super titanium. Good luck damaging that. Wii Fit Trainer seems to be just a normal human. Sure, she is fit and athletic, but what could she do in a fight? Nothing suggests she has much fighting prowess, so you would just beat her up. Rosalina's magic is potent enough to send her starship through the universe at speeds faster than light. And some Mario games like 3D World show her having the same super strength as all other Mario characters. Even if we declare Mac's match with DK as non-canon, he still fights and defeats Mr. Sandman, a guy who can destroy a building with a single punch. Mac is basically a professional boxer with the strength of a wrecking ball. Like Lucario, Greninja is too skilled, too fast and has too many awesome powers to lose to a human. I mean, you are fighting a ninja with superpowers. Palutena is a goddess and she is either on par or straight up superior to Pit in terms of power. In his TV show, Pac-Man has a power-up that turns him into a freaking planet, with the ability to beat other planet-sized beings. Aside from having the same impressive stats as other Fire Emblem characters, Robin also has magic attacks, so it's even harder to beat him in a fight. Sheik can see the future and he has enough power to destroy giant mechanical beings. Bowser Jr. is a child and acts like an idiot most of the time, so you could outsmart him. However, his durability is comparable to that of other Mario characters, so no matter what you do, you will not be able to KO him. Duck Hunt seems like an easy fight at first. However, the character Duck Hunt doesn't just consist of a dog and a duck. There's a third member, an unseen hunter wearing a rifle. That's the one who performs all of Duck Hunt's smash attacks. I can see you beating a basset hound and a duck in a fight, but a hunter would require you to either catch him off guard or be more skilled with a rifle than he is. So maybe you can win here, but it requires the correct strategy. Ryu and Ken are martial arts masters whose abs look like they would shatter the fist of a normal human who tries to punch them. Claude is a genetically enhanced super soldier with a sword that's almost as big as he is. He also has his materia-related powers. On top of being able to fight dragons, Corrin can also turn into a dragon himself. I doubt a normal human can last longer than 1 minute against Bayonetta. And in the case of a fight, it will be even less. I mean, she casually headbutts a freaking building, and that's one of her least impressive feats. She's also known for torture attacks that could potentially give you a fate worse than death. Inkling has a lot of weapons and a few low-level explosives, but her guns only shoot ink instead of bullets. Don't get me wrong, her weaponry can still be lethal as seen in the Splatoon story mode. But it seems like her ink is only really effective against other sea creatures. We don't know if it would do anything to a human. Meanwhile, all you have to do to beat Inkling is to knock her into water. I say you could pull this off under the right circumstances. Remember the Metroid manga that shows Ridley destroying an entire space colony? And mind you that Metroid takes place in a sci-fi setting, so everyone here has futuristic weapons. Also, considering how cruel Ridley is, I wouldn't say that torture is out of his mind. This fight could potentially be a fate worse than death. The Belmonts constantly fight against eldritch abominations and they are skilled with several lethal weapons. This fight doesn't look too good. Rool once survived an island exploding around him and his strength matches that of DK. Isabelle is like a villager with the added disadvantage that she hates all kinds of confrontations, and she gets visibly nervous when you talk to her about a heavy topic. She would probably get an anxiety attack if she had to fight you. A giant wrestling tiger with fire powers. Incineroar is comparable to most fully evolved Pokémon, who are usually way stronger than even the strongest animals on Earth. Piranha Plant is in a similar situation to Pokémon characters, as it's more of a species than a single character. The Mario games show Piranha Plants varying heavily in power, with some being kaiju-sized and others dying to a single fireball. Depending on what kind of Piranha Plant you are facing, I can see you winning the fight. In Persona, there's a place called the Metaverse, where Joker can use his Persona, to fight, which gives him access to a ton of supernatural powers. You have no chance beating him there. However, if the fight takes place outside the Metaverse, then Joker is just a normal human. Look at his arms and now look at yours. You would just beat him up there. The heroes of Dragon Quest have a ton of magic spells that would overwhelm any ordinary human. Even if you took away their swords, imagine getting hit by their Tornado Up special. Banjo is a bear, that alone would be a difficult fight, but the two also have grenades and superpowers like Wonder Wing. Everything that can be said about Ryo and Ken can also be said about Terry. I think I made it clear by now that your chances against Fire Emblem Lords aren't too high. Min Min is a skilled fighter that you have no hope at beating in ranged combat, due to how far her arms extend. She can also use this big electric metal ball as a fist. Remember when Luffy had this gold ball stuck to his hand? I doubt anyone can take a hit from that. I could rank Steve to high heavens by claiming that the weight of his inventory in Minecraft translates to his canonical power. However, as I already made clear, video games usually don't treat inventory weight as anything but a gameplay mechanic. Steve is still able to fell a tree with a couple of punches, and he can potentially use enchanted diamond armor, so even without the inventory feat, Steve wins here. One look at the Xenoblade gameplay will tell you that we will not beat these two waifus. On top of being a martial arts master and looking like he came straight out of Baki, Kazuya also has his devil gene. You know those scenes in Kingdom Hearts where Sora reflects tons of beams of light with his Keyblade? His combat speed would be way too high. I am not really sure what I should consider canon for the Miis. On one hand, you have games like Wii Sports, which portray Miis as normal humans, with the exception of Matt, of course. But then you have Miitopia, where everyone has enough skill and powers to fight monsters. So depending on what kind of bases we use for the Miis, you could pull off a win here with the correct strategy. And there you have it. Even with a more grounded approach, most of these characters are still overwhelmingly powerful. If you enjoyed the video, consider to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.